Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mark Twain, probably one of the best known American writers, said that politics is the only profession where you can lie, cheat, and steal, and still be respected. It sounds cynical, and yet it is true. The ancient Greeks had a solution to that. They said as much as the nation or society needs public leaders because we can't all be responsible for public affairs, we need the people who are educated, knowledgeable, objective, to carry out the secret duty of holding those public officials to account. It was out of the recognition that these public officials can lie, cheat, and steal. In the case of Africa, delete, steal, and put corruption. In Africa, we seem to have had the opposite. Whereas Mark Twain was talking of these politicians are still respected, we in Africa, we still worship them. And that has only encouraged the politicians to lie, cheat, and loot at a grand scale. Welcome to the program, Ben.
Good day to you and good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. You know, when you look at Africa, let's deal particularly with Zimbabwe. You know, one can easily say some of the most outrageous things and people will cheer. Or something that really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They will cheer. Thousands, millions. Easy. You know, cheating. That's our common thing now. Stealing. Yesterday I was talking about how Zimbabweans go about their day-to-day lives. They have now made it normal and they've called it a word to say kungwava ngwava, where you steal and you are looking at the same time. So you are looking to steal. That's what the word, actually means. And it becomes normal. And you look at individuals like Ian Smith, where they said you will walk on top of sewage and it will become normal. People thought, "Oh, man, what is he talking about? Maybe this guy is racial." But we are doing these things and making it look, what they call cool. It's an in thing. The level at which we have fallen and have accepted it. It's better you fall than you dust yourself. But when you accept that you have fallen and then, you start rolling in the mud or in the dirt like, a spoiled child, and then you've got a serious problem. We have reached that level as Zimbabwe, where our leaders can lie to us and we will clap. They can cheat us right in front of our eyes and we are fine with it. Still as blind. And we can see what has been taken, and still be fine with it. Life goes on. I'll steal for the next from the next person, and so on and so forth. It's it's heartbreaking. It's disappointing. It's a whole load of emotion that comes through to say, a country that was destined to be the next Singapore, the next Malaysia, has fallen so hard. You know, we are now competing to see who's far worse with the ones that were never projected to be anyway. It's sad, Robert. It is.
Well, one of the areas where ZANU-PF has lied and cheated, stolen, is this whole idea of this constitutional amendment bill number 3. One of the things that the constitutional bill was supposed to deliver was to put an end to the endless cycle of election mode that the country was caught up in. We're told that if we pass this constitutional amendment bill, it will finally force the country's politicians to forget the campaign mode and focus on delivering issues that help the country, focus on development. That has been another lie. And to be quite honest, this is not the first time we've heard such a lie. In 2017, when Mnangagwa and his friends staged a military coup, the people were made to believe that the coup was removing the corrupt leaders around Mugabe. And to settle down the people's nerves, the nation was told that there would be free, fair, and credible elections. I think many people with half a brain never believed that lie. This was a group of thugs who had rigged elections for the last 37 years to keep Mugabe in power at all costs. They had risked their own lives in staging this coup because if they had lost it, they knew they would be thrown in jail or worse. And so the whole idea that now they've succeeded, and the other important point is that they had been rigging elections for the last 37 years to keep Mugabe in power. So they perfected the art of rigging elections. And for anyone then to believe that they will turn around and forget all their skills of rigging elections, in this particular case, they'll be rigging elections for their own benefit, not somebody else, for a change. And more so, in this case, implement reforms so that they are free, fair, and credible election, and put the risk of them losing those elections at stake. It's just too much. That was just a lie. And of course, as we know, as history has shown, Mnangagwa never kept that promise. Mnangagwa and company blatantly rigged the 2018 elections and went on to blatantly rig the 2023 elections. And interestingly enough, before the dust of the 2023 elections had even settled down, Mnangagwa was already in his next campaign mode, ED 2030 agenda. Coming back to where we started. And the agenda morphed into the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. And we were promised that if we extend parliamentarians stay in power from 5 years to 7 years, they will forget about the campaign mode and focus on development. A lie that is now abundantly clear is not being kept. Because the campaign mode, although the Constitutional Amendment Bill has been signed into law, if anything at all, the campaign mode has gone up 1 or 2 gears. Mnangagwa and company are now in campaign mode already.
You know what the ZANU PF idiots forget is that they created the monster, which was Robert Mugabe. And they have soon forgotten that it took a military coup to get rid of him. A venture that could have easily cost a lot of them their lives. And then they go and repeat the same thing. They go and change the constitution, creating a demigod, giving all power to one person. They have since forgotten. ZANU PF, the problem with ZANU PF is that they have never had a succession plan. Nobody dare speak about being the top leader, lest you be said you were already vying for it whilst I was still there. They don't trust each other to do anything to do with their own constitution. I mean, look, you barely have just extended the term. Here you are already in campaign mode. You know, you just mentioned that. To extend it further for another 7 years. Now, you know, this means everything that you were arguing before that, to say, you know, we need longer term because we are always, they are always in campaign mode because they are so fearful of one another that they have to always be stopping and trying to, you know, hold on to power for as long as possible. You know, the unfortunate thing is that 46 years since independence, because of these ZANU PF thugs, Zimbabwe is an embarrassment. We have never, ever had a handover and changeover of power. The only time we could change was through a military coup, which they tried to, bend the constitution again to say, no, it was acceptable, it was protecting this and that. Just the same way they are doing it now, where they twisted the constitution again. And it is very possible the wife may want to take, to be the next in command. We saw it, through Mugabe. Grace was already gearing up her popularity and taking over the show. I wouldn't be surprised and I wouldn't put it past Mnangagwa to be grooming his wife to take over. And then you look at gentlemen like Chris Mutangwa and all those others that were saying it is not a family dynasty. Yet it's playing right in front of their faces. It's unfortunate that, Mark Twain there was very correct to say, the level at which leaders nowadays would easily lie, easily cheat, and manipulate the people with relative ease. And the most unfortunate thing here is that the people are so blinded and so easily manipulated that they actually sing and clap for these here.
Well, here is a new campaign mode, or rather, path that is being proposed already.
And him for an additional 7 years from 2030 to 2037. He must lead the party. That is what Harare is saying.
Given the fact that it is a bill that started as a resolution of the party.
Well, it is of fundamental importance to the development of this country because now constitutionally the president will remain in office as president, a commander-in-chief, a head of government until 2030. He will also then be able to complete Vision 2030. But for us as Harare province, we look at a continuum that beyond 2030, what happens? The president has done exceedingly well. We have heard and we have lived his mantra. The country is built by its people. It is prayed for by its people. And so we are saying what happens to him. The people are saying what happens to him beyond 2030. So the people of Harare, as we go into resolutions for the next conference in Bindura, are saying His Excellency should remain the party president and first secretary of ZANU-PF at the 2030 Congress.
We are already in campaign mode. And the nation will be bulldozed along. The people genuinely believed that 5 years was too short. We are all forever in campaign mode. And the nation is not even focusing on issues that affect the ordinary people. Let's give the politicians 7 years. And the constitutional amendment gave them 7 years. And before the dust has even settled, the ink has not even dried on this constitutional amendment bill number 3 that Mnangagwa has just signed. We are now already being told we are in campaign mode. We want Mnangagwa to stay another 7 years beyond 2030. It's just endless. That is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. And it's not only ZANU-PF that is already in campaign mode. The people themselves are going to be in campaign mode. Because as people wake up to the reality that this Vision 2030 is a mirage, and I've said it on this platform several times, that Vision 2030 is a mirage, no more than Mugabe's Gutsarushinji in the 1980s. It was a mirage. You don't have mass prosperity from a culture of spending money as if there's no tomorrow, which was Mugabe's scientific socialism was all about. Zimbabwe's economy in 1980, when we gained our independence, the GDP per capita was 6,000 US dollars. Over the years, it has dropped and is now hanging at 2,000 US dollars per capita. And it's been stuck there. Mnangagwa has been in power for the last 8 years already. And the economy has not shown any sign of economic recovery. None. And yet, in 2023, soon after the election, he started this ED 2030 agenda, telling people that he needed to stay in to deliver Vision 2030, where the economy will have recovered so much that the GDP per capita will be 3 times what it is today. It's nonsense. And the more people realize that, of course they'll be angry. And so they too will be in campaign mode. This is just a nightmare scenario.
You know, we when this whole thing started, I think you and I came to an agreement that ZANU PF is about to open Pandora's box. And they have since opened it with this violation of the Constitution. And now I think we have reached a stage where anything is possible. I've heard the likes of Maponga saying that, you know, forget about democracy altogether. We can have King Munumtapa, you know. Yet Mnangagwa is not even probably related to the Munumtapas. But they're already going there. You can see the direction which they want to take this thing to. ZANU-PF has never had a succession plan. I mean, look, Mugabe got ousted just a few months before an election. That was when he was ousted. They couldn't step up and say, "Yeah, no, it's enough. We are not going to vote for you this time. We need somebody." They couldn't do it. Rather, they had to you know, to bite him, to shoot him in the back. You know, that is how it is in ZANU-PF. So instead of them now failing to run their own house, because they are failing to run their own household, they want to drag the entire nation down under with them. And this is obvious, you know, even since 1980, when they stated that if we are not the ones that are going to rule, this whole country will be burnt. They were prepared to do that. And they are still prepared to do this. We are in serious trouble. And again, I'll use the quotation there by Mark Twain, where he says, you know, if they can lie and cheat and steal, and we still clap hands for them, and we still do nothing, we may not clap the hands, we may not, but still do nothing. I think it's a sign that we are actually respecting them and actually taking those abnormal things to make it normal. 46 years and no, constitutional handover and changeover of power. And we call ourselves a democracy. I think that is the biggest joke in the entire universe. People will laugh at you and say, what democracy do you know? What are you talking about? And the likes of Maponga to say, how can you say it's failed? Because you failed it yourself. You're not a democratic nation. Other democratic nations have changed to over 10, 15 people by now. We are still stuck in the one. Because it was a military coup. It's sad, it's pathetic.
My last word on this issue, and particularly focusing on the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. The promise that the bill will end the endless cycle of electioneering mode is turning out to be just another lie. And as people wake up to that reality, what is the solution? I believe this is a point where one can say the politicians have crossed the double red lines. This is unacceptable. And the people should make a vow that this Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 must be scrapped. There is no other way to deal with it. It's such an obnoxious piece of legislation. It's only dragging us deeper and deeper into this hellhole that we've found ourselves in. Instead of respecting those politicians who were involved in this Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, we have been worshiping them. That is at the heart of our problem here. And I think we should flip it over. We should do exactly the opposite. We should vow that this Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 must be scrapped. That is not negotiable. And we should also hold all those politicians who had anything to do with this obnoxious Constitutional Amendment Bill to account. And this time, we must mean it. None of those who were involved in this obnoxious Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 should ever be allowed to hold public office. We make our position very clear and make it abundantly clear that we mean it. All this madness will stop. All this talk of Mnangagwa now thinking of extending his own stay in office, by hook or by crook, would end. Because that is where we have defined the fight. The battle is to make sure that we scrap this Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, and we hold all those involved, be they in the opposition or ZANU-PF itself, to account. None of them should ever be allowed to hold public office. Enough is enough. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.